Hello everyone, welcome back to Mykayaplus. Today we're going to cover a special topic related to Malaysia and Singapore. So happened that Jupan is working in Singapore right now. I'm based in Malaysia. So before we start, I just want to ask, typically when you come back to KL, what is your usual or preferred transport methods? And then usually how long it takes? Jupan.
It depends. I think back then I used to take bus. On a Friday evening after work, I'll take a bus back to KL, and a Sunday evening, I'll also do the same and come back to Singapore. So just to give you an idea, say for example, last time I used to take a bus that pushes off from Singapore by 7 p.m. Reaching back in KL, the hours can vary quite a bit. I would say, given normal circumstances, I will reach KL by 1 a.m. So it's roughly a 6 hour journey from Singapore to KL. Of course, the direct journey is not that far or does requires that long, but just because it's due to the peak hour period where a lot of other people are also commuting back to Johor, those Malaysians who spend their working hours in Singapore, but after work they go back. So the jam will take up easily quite a few hours of the total journey. Under bad scenarios or bad circumstances, it can be as late as 2 or 3 a.m. to reach KL in the early morning of Saturday. And I think after that, I opt for flights due to the fact that the timing is much more predictable. If it's just a flight, I think from Singapore to KL, if you talk about flying off, departure and reaching KLIA would be 1 hour, but that does not include the time you spend getting over to the airport. And then after that, after you land in KLIA or KLIA2, there's also another hour of commuting back from KLIA to KL Center. So the time does still vary. I think if you take door-to-door calculation, I would say flight maybe is just 2 hours lesser than taking a bus, right? So back then, that was the reason for me to take bus.
Yeah, so I think today's topic is, if you guys are following the news, today we're going to cover about this thing called HSR, which is representing or related to this thing called high-speed rails. So just to bring you back a little bit history about this project. This project was somewhat signed back in 2016, should be a part of the 1MDB projects, where you have the endpoint starting from Bandar Malaysia in KL, and then connecting all the way to Jurong, which is in Singapore. So this is the very original project. And then the thing that is actually catching the attention from the public is because they have actually launched an RFI, request for information, and then they've done the briefing and they have attracted a lot of local and international players to participate. What does it mean by RFI? Meaning they wanted to reopen this project, award to someone to basically build this high-speed rail, let's say 5 to 6 years down the road, right? So this is some of the original information about these things. So like what Japan have covered, it can take, let's say, 4 hours, 6 hours, depends on whichever method that you choose. But probably flight is the fastest. And then with this thing come in place, technically you only need about 90 minutes to reach KL if you depart from Bandar Malaysia, which is the first station. And then the rumors was saying for the new alignment, the two-way tickets, meaning to and forth, will cost you about 450. But this is yet to be finalized, but you can take this as a gauge, which make it not far away from flight. But then if you talk about effectiveness from time, it's definitely faster because Bandar Malaysia is somewhat in the heart of KL compared to KLIA. When you basically landed in KLIA, you still need to take, let's say, Grab, spend another 20, 30 minutes before you can reach KL town. So these all the things that is related to HSR. And of course, all these things is not just one stop, meaning from Bandar Malaysia to go to Jurong. There are multiple stops. You go to Sepang, Semeramban, Malacca, which is in Ayer Keroh, and so on. So of course, there are opportunity around this area. And if you are interested in finding investment opportunity, you can go and check out nearby that area. Is there any active developer and are they listed? I mean, all these things you need to spend some time to do some homework. But again, this is RFI, nothing has been confirmed, right? So this is supposed to be a project launched back then, but of course there are a lot of history. It's a bit drama. They signed off, everything was agreed to proceed, but eventually, under the administration of Muhyiddin back then, 2021, Malaysia basically called off this project, and Malaysia paid 320 million ringgit as a compensation to Singapore. But guess what? After you pay so much money, now this thing is back, and then they are calling for the private sector to participate, right? So the differences between the RFI for this time round, they are looking for a so-called PPP, a public-private partnership, and then instead of like a traditional, basically the funding is supported by government, and then they award to someone, let's say a main con, and then the main con get a one-time so-called setup fee or construction fee, and then they walk away. So this is a little bit different. It's a partnership. Technically, they're asking you come and bid for it. Whichever give the best proposal, I'll award you with this project. You find your own funding, can be from local financial institution, can be international. And when you gather all this fund, you build the whole thing, you get the right to operate it. So what does it mean by operating this HSR? Meaning every ticket that is basically sold through this platform, you get a cut. It depends on how many company in the consortium, and then you share your profit accordingly. So this is something different compared to last time. So this is something to take note, right? Which also lead to a lot of so-called investment opportunity for the people that speculate on who will be the winner eventually. So this is a few things just to give you a perspective. So who will be the direct winner in a way? But it's not yet confirmed. It's definitely someone that's related to Bandar Malaysia. So since this Bandar Malaysia is the first stop of the station or is a terminal uh, station in KL, it is basically a place that you will build out a new township. And originally, this was part of 1MDB project. And back in December 2015, they actually sold 60% of the stake to this Tan Sri Lim Kang Hu, which is basically the guy behind IWCT and also EcoWest, and also together with this China Railroad Engineering Sdn Bhd. So right now they basically are the guy behind this Bandar Malaysia, but this whole project is not started at all. It's just the place has been drawn. If you are not familiar, where is it? You can try to imagine if you have ever taken MRT2 before. Let's say you reach Chan Sao Ling station, and then you will be finding a bit weird because it takes very, very long before you can reach the next station, which is Tun Razak Exchange. It takes super long, about 10 minutes. So basically, the original plan for MRT2, they are supposed to be two stops in between. Meaning when you go for Chan Sao Ling, it will be Bandar Malaysia maybe 1 and Bandar Malaysia 2 before you reaching TRX, which is Tun Razak Exchange. But of course, right now, there isn't any station, it's a direct through there. So this is basically that area, right? Towards the KL South kind of space, right? So this is the so-called direct beneficiary. And of course, before this thing even started, now it's just RFI, the market has been speculating the stuff and it has been reflected in the recent performance. If you take a look at the past 1 month performance, it basically go up easily 20% for these two companies that I mentioned just now, right? But then ultimately, this is just a side effect. The guy that going to win the project look like the guy that is going to be the one that be in charge and take the most positive impact because they become the operator of HSR. So originally, back then, it basically awarded to 4 companies. And it basically separated into 2 different stage. You got like the first phase, like from KL to Malacca, and then another one is Malacca to Singapore. So the one up north is awarded to these 2 company. It's a consortium with MRCB and also Gamuda. Both of these are listed co. The second part of it is YTL and also TH Properties in Berhad. So the only guy that is not listed is this TH Properties in Berhad. But this is the original company that actually get the awards. But who will be the guy that get this time round? Don't know yet. But then of course this guy, since they won it before, they'll come back. So this is a few things. If you wanted to actually deep dive further, because of this so-called catalyst, you can look into Gamuda. And of course, you can also look into MRCB, look into YTL. And another guy that also show their interest, they wanted to bid for it, is Suncon, or in another word is Sunway Construction. And of course, all these things, if you're interested to take a bet, it's a pure speculation because no one know. Even though you know, technically it's insider trading, also not allowed at all, right? So all these things is everything unknown, but you can make some educated guess or whatnot based on what information you can gather from the news or whatnot, right? But fundamentally, these few company, they are different. If you look into the number that actually reflected from all these company, some are good, some are bad. From all these public figures that you can actually find out. For example, Gabuna should be a better one. You can see their profit margin is high, and then they are giving out dividend, the ROE, all those numbers. If you compare with MRCB, the ROE is at 1.3 versus a Gamuda 17.21. For example, so if all else fail, this fundamental figure is the one that actually protect you from investment perspective. So, but again, this is a summary about this high-speed rail. Who is the guy that's related? Who is the guy that have some connection, which is Bandar Malaysia, and then behind them, which company is actually related? This is something that we wanted to share, to give you some input or some insight of who will be the guy that actually have a chance to get the upside if this project being realized, let's say 5 years down the road. Anything to add on before we end the video, Juban?
Yeah, I think prior to even coming out with this video, I did casually mention to you that it is an exciting time to see high-speed rail project, the high-speed rail project being revitalized, and you see already some of the noises or some of the market movements in some of the companies that are so-called direct beneficiaries of the project. And of course, if the project does eventually materialize, there could be, pickings of potential new consortiums or even the existing ones to actually take up the project and actually get the high-speed rail and all the required infrastructure fixed and even built up. But this is a period, or this is a chance where the fundamentals on now, from this moment, doesn't really dictate who will actually get the project, right? So, as what you mentioned just now, choosing a stronger and a more solid company among the 4 will only protect you from the downside if the company does not actually obtain the project. So, say for example, you pick Gamuda for punt because of the previous consortium that it has actually also succeeded to obtain part of the project, and now chances are the company might also want to relook and re-enter into the project. But let's say if Gamuda doesn't get it, your only consolation is, okay, at least the company is not bad. It still is trading at a reasonable kind of profit margins, ROE, etc. But do know that if in the event the company does not get the project, I think the market reaction will automatically sell down share price as well. So it doesn't matter fundamental point of view. Sentiments actually play a much more bigger role in the share price movement when they are incidents or even scenarios or events like this happening, right? So, which is also one of the reasons where I don't kind of like construction companies, because in terms of their project pipeline is a bit unpredictable. So you cannot predict that every year there will be continuous predictable growth. It's just that in terms of fundamental wise, different companies have different strength and different management in running their company. So the only way to pick up potentially relatively better construction company would be from the fundamental analysis. So I think that's it from my end. Anything on your side in terms of your opinion? And would you actually consider, making a punt on either one of the construction companies to see whether one of them actually, clinch the project or not?
I mean, of course, this kind of thing is you only can do educated guess
Yeah.
without anything that can assure you this guy will get or whatnot, right? So that's why I'm saying choosing the one with good fundamental, but potentially can protect you from the downside, but definitely not the upside. But
Yeah.
take all these things out. I mean, as a person that live in KL, I like this project. I think it makes sense. 450 for 90 minutes from a place deep in KL town, go all the way to Jurong is a good deal. I would definitely choose this over flight, which you need to spend time, check in your luggage or whatever not. It doesn't make sense. So as a person living here, as a Malaysian, I really wanted to see this happening. Let's see how it progresses. And then we shall see who will be the actual winner that actually win the race. So if you guys have any question or wanted us to actually cover something special, feel free to put inside the comment. If you like the content, just give a like, share it out to your friends and family, and we will see you again in the next episode. Talk to you again. See you.
All right. See
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye-bye.